Hmm. Hello, Joe Gaming Girly here. Yeah, I finished Resident Evil Revelations. Been a while ago since I finished this. I should have done a video right away because I've been meaning to do a video and talk about my thoughts on this game. Resident Evil Revelations was originally on the 3DS, and then eventually came out on other consoles and PC. I got it on PS4, as you can see. Yeah, you play as Jill Valentine, and you work for the BS AA, and you investigate a ship. Pretty much a ghost ship at first, and it's just the ship is so creepy. But then ships are normally quite creepy anyway. Yeah, very eerie. The ship makes noises, and I love the lower decks because they're just so narrow hallways, and you just don't know. You're quite scared when you get on the ship at first. It just puts you on edge. It really does, right away off the bat. And the upper decks, complete different contrasts. Like they're gorgeous and grand. The big grand, like when I got to that bit, I was just like, wow. I was like very impressed. Yeah, the ship is Queen Zenobia. Absolutely loved all the boss fights in this. I felt like they were a lot more of a challenge than the village bosses. The bosses in Village, like I said, were easy. But yeah, these boss fights in Revelations was so much more. Especially with the is it the communication officer that's basically um, saying Mayday, Mayday. That guy. Oh my god, he's really creepy. It's I think he's quite creepy to me because he's still talking as a bio weapon, and he's like, no, don't you? And it's like, and he's just saying things all the time. Like don't shoot me and Mayday, Mayday. He's still trying to get help for his crew. So that really is quite creepy to me. I absolutely loved that boss. It was a He was a bit of a challenge because you got other bioweapons coming after you too, as you're trying to defeat the communications officer to, I think, get a key if I remember. But oh my god, I absolutely loved it. I'm sorry, it was brilliant. Just all the bosses, I found great, amazing. Oh, it's really creepy. I don't think he realizes he has turned. So yeah, and he's saying all sorts of things as you're fighting him. I loved it. It was a great boss battle. It was slightly challenging. You had other bioweapons coming after you as you were trying to defeat the communications officer. I was just like, oh my god. It was amazing. Like, the boss is definitely very, very much a challenge and interesting in this game, unlike Village, where I felt the bosses were quite dull and easy. Um, Absolutely no merchants within this game, um, which is good. As you know, I'm not a fan of the merchants. To me, it's not. I think it works for the more actiony Resident Evil games, but yeah, I'm just not a fan of the actiony Resident Evil games. I like the more slow-paced, true survival horror Resident Evils, and this really, really does feel like the older Resident Evil games. But yeah, the scanner, absolutely enjoyed that. That's something new, but I absolutely loved it. Yeah, you obviously there are items here, there, wherever that you can see, but there's some items that you cannot see because they're behind something or whatever. And you can use the scanning device to scan the rooms, also enemies. Oh, absolutely enjoyed that bit. Yeah, definitely something new, but I absolutely loved it. It really worked for this game. It's so good. You know, I absolutely enjoyed just scanning every single inch of the place. I don't know why, it was so fun to me. But it just, you know, I rather hunt for stuff, for supplies, and rather than getting it, you know, it's laid out with the merchant. It's just, it just feels a little bit more like a survival, like the old traditional survival horror games. The puzzles were also good. Quite enjoyed them. Yeah, just everything about this game was just brilliant. And I loved the story. I loved that there was chapters, so you could play one chapter and then, you know, come back to it, like, because I sometimes don't get to play games straight off, like straight away, like you know, I'm working all the time, so it's quite nice to have these like chunks of chapters. So you play a chapter and then you'd be like, you haven't played it for a month, and then you go back to it, and then it sort of goes through the last chapter, and then, you know, what happened in that, and then you can continue. And I loved that. I absolutely loved that. I thought that was brilliant. You know, and like I say, someone that's always working, I love the chapters. It's kind of like a book. um, so yeah, I've just felt like this game was more like Resident Evil, and it felt more like a true survival horror. I felt like, you know, I was surviving in this game, like, and I love the story. I love the characters. You don't just play as Jill; you play as many other characters throughout the game, but it just never got boring. I absolutely loved it, and I couldn't wait to play again. So yeah, hopefully when I finally get to play Revelations 2, that is just as good. But yeah, I really hope they make some more Revelations games. Yeah, being a fan of the older Resident Evils, if you know, if you are a fan of the older Resident Evils, you would definitely like the Revelations games. I feel, because I do. It just felt like more like Resident Evil to me. You know, there's still action within this game, but it's not so heavy with the action. It does feel like a survival horror, with a little bit of action, but not a huge amount. And it just felt so much more like Resident Evil, like the older Resi games that I love the most. So yeah, I need to stop babbling on. But yeah, I absolutely love this game. Check it out if you haven't already.